What's up, everyone? It's your shot Buie, back again for another episode of Ballin' with Buie, where I cover the hottest topics in sports, especially if it is OU related. Today I want to break down a men's college basketball game that happened in the Big 12, 14 West Virginia on the road against 7 Texas Tech. So let's dive in. A little pregame stats for you. West Virginia entered this game second in the Big 12 in scoring, averaging a little under 77 points per game. Miles McBride's fifth in the Big 12 in scoring, averaging 15.9 points per game. And Derek Culver is a leading rebounder. Both of those players on West Virginia. If you didn't know, Derek Culver's averaging 10 rebounds a game. He's the only player in the Big 12 averaging double digits rebounding. Then on Texas Tech's number one defense in the Big 12. They're only allowing about 62 points per game, just under. And Mac McClung, second in the Big 12 in scoring, just behind Cade Cunningham, 17.2 points per game. They met earlier in the year. West Virginia won 88-87, kind of had a comeback late. That was just about 2 weeks ago. They met again here tonight. So West Virginia started off pretty hot, 5 for 5 from the floor, found themselves up 13-6 right out the gate. But then West Virginia's leading scorer, McBride, ended up getting 2 fouls about 9 minutes into the half. He only had 2 points at that point, and he didn't see the floor for the rest of the first half. So leading scorer goes to the bench, 2 points. You don't see him again. Both teams were in the bonus at that same point. Around the time McBride picked up his second foul, both teams were already in the bonus. There was a lot of fouling in the first half, a lot of free throws. Free throw statistics: West Virginia in the first half shot 9 of 12 from the free throw line, while Tech shot 7 of 10. Culver had 12 at half. And then Sean McNeil, he had 15 points in the first half, 6 for 7 from the field, 3 for 4 from 3. His only miss was a heat check from 3, and it didn't go in, obviously. He started because Taz Sherman's dealing with an injury for West Virginia, so he filled in the spot, and he drops 15 in the first half and the leading scorer for him when he wasn't even supposed to start. Kind of a late decision there. Leading scorer for Tech, McClung, he only had 10 at half. He played pretty good, but he missed a couple shots. West Virginia ended up having the lead at halftime, 40-34. Jumps to the second half here. Derek Culver picked up his 4th foul. 15 minutes left in the second half. So you have your second best player, arguably. I mean, I think he's the second best player on the team, but he might still be the leader, heart and soul. I mean, leading rebounder, so he's a big piece. Picks up his 4th foul, 15 minutes left. So you don't see him for a while. That's a long time to not have him on the floor. Both teams shot close to 50% for the game. Both teams shot very well, just as they did in the first meeting. I mean, the first meeting was a very high-scoring game. This was a pretty high-scoring game also, especially since Texas Tech is number 1 in the Big 12 in defense, allowing points per game. Culver came back in with about 5 minutes left. He immediately got a 3-point play as soon as he came in, and one. But before that, it was about 60-60, about 7:30 left in the second half. And then fast forward to about a minute left, West Virginia's up 75-69, and then McClung ends up fouling out with a minute left. It was just frustration foul. He went down the court on offense and then just shoots a 3 from the top of the key early in the possession, and then coming down the court right after his miss, he just has a dumb foul, in my opinion. But he fouls out 17 points. McBride ended up dropping 18 in the second half after only having 2 points in the first half, for a total of 20 points. And then McNeil ended up finishing the game with game high and a season high for him, 26 points. They could not stop him. I mean, they probably didn't expect that from him, especially since he wasn't supposed to be starting. And then when they heard he was starting, I'm sure they thought that was going to be a blow towards West Virginia, and it did not turn out to be that way. He was hot all night. They could not slow him down for the entirety of the game. And Texas Tech's head coach, he got ejected with about a minute left in the game, Chris Beard. He was arguing a call that the referees made, got a tech, and then he walks onto the court, continues arguing with a different ref, and then he falls down on the floor, insinuating that he was a player, and then saying that they were calling timeout, and second ref tees him up, throws him out. And then he stayed on the court for a little bit after that, still arguing and kind of giving the refs a stare down before he finally jogged off the court, headed to the locker room. Texas Tech fans were cheering him on the entire time, of course. I mean, the game was about over at that point, so it really didn't matter. But yeah, Texas Tech fans loved it. But West Virginia ends up getting the victory once again against the Red Raiders. 82-71. Texas Tech was favored in the game, favored by about, I think, 6 was the line when the game started. West Virginia played really good though. Came out hot, hitting all their shots, hit their shots for the entirety of the game. It was close for a while, but then West Virginia never really gave up the lead. Texas Tech just couldn't get into it. McClung was about the only big scorer for Tech. They had 2 other plays in double digits, but there wasn't anyone else stepping up, hitting shots along with them. But that about does it for this podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Like always, share and subscribe. I'll catch you later. Deuces.